Ever had that gut punch feeling when someone disrespects you in public? Maybe it's a nasty, sarcastic dig in front of everyone, or a so-called joke that just makes you feel small and worthless. In those moments, your head's probably spinning, right? You're thinking, how do I even respond to this? How do you keep your dignity and actually get respect, even from people who are just jerks and don't seem to value anyone else? You're not alone. We've all been there. Those brutal moments where you feel like you're exposed, vulnerable, and totally out of control. But the truth is, you have more power than you think. In this video, we're getting real about some practical strategies and psychological tools inspired by the solid, timeless wisdom of Stoicism. These aren't just tips for getting through awkward moments. They're about reclaiming your power and making people respect you, even the ones who treat others like they're nothing. Stick around, because we're going to figure out how to respond intelligently, turning those awful moments into chances to show people your value. Let's get to the heart of why these situations happen. Most times, it's not personal. People aren't hating you or out to get you. It's often about some twisted ego trip. They try to make themselves look better by making you look worse. They think if they make you feel weak or uncomfortable, they'll somehow look bigger. It's everywhere: work, friends, even family. Stoicism, in its straightforward way, shows us that respect isn't something you demand or force. It's about how you act, how you set boundaries, and the belief you have in your own self-worth. Marcus Aurelius said it best: "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Your calm and your confidence, those are your best weapons. But it's not just about handling the bad stuff. It's about creating an environment where you're just seen as someone who deserves respect. What does that mean? It means you're not a doormat. You're not someone anyone can use to boost their own image. You've got to show that you know your value, and you're not going to be shaken by cheap shots or backhanded insults. So, get ready. We're diving deep into Stoic philosophy and how to apply it to your everyday life. These small but impactful tools will help you stand your ground, no matter what. If you felt pushed around, belittled, or taken for granted, remember this: respect isn't won by yelling and fighting back, but by how calmly and firmly you manage yourself. Now, let's get to it. How to handle disrespect with real strength. First up, first impressions are huge. They're the foundation of how people see you. And it's less about what you say and more about how you carry yourself. Picture this: you're at a networking thing, an important one for your career. Someone walks in, looks around, and heads your way, hand out for a shake. But instead of standing, you stay seated and give a quick glance at their hand. What's the message? You've sent out a signal that you're not all that engaged and that this interaction isn't a big deal to you. Those little things matter. They have a massive impact. The Stoics knew this. They knew that things like standing up and looking someone in the eye when you greet them aren't just about good manners. They're powerful ways to show confidence and self-awareness. When you get up to shake someone's hand, you're silently communicating that you see them as equal and you're ready for a real interaction. This aligns with a key Stoic idea. How you show up is a reflection of your values, and that's how people will see you. Let me give you a real example. I was at a seminar and one guy stood out. Whether he was talking to a big shot executive or just thanking the waiter, he always stood, made eye contact, and was fully engaged. It wasn't flashy. He was just solid. People respected him for how he acted, not just for what he said. He just projected confidence and integrity. On the other hand, there was this other guy who stayed seated for every handshake. He didn't mean to come off as uninterested. It was just how he was. But it created this weird vibe, and people didn't take him as seriously, even though he was just as capable as everyone else. It shows you the truth. Standing up is not just about being polite. It's about saying, "I value you and I value myself." The lesson here is clear. Standing up isn't just a courtesy. It's a declaration of worth. This is Stoicism in action. They didn't focus on what they couldn't control. They maximized what they could in their own actions. If you want to make this a part of your life, start with everyday stuff. If you're meeting someone at the office, at a coffee shop, or even in a virtual meeting, be present. Stand up to greet them, make eye contact, and be confident with your body language. These little actions will earn you respect and show your inherent value. Remember, it's not just about appearances. It's about showing you're confident, that you respect yourself and you respect others. That's what Stoicism teaches. Live with intention, pay attention to the small things, and let your actions speak for you. So, next time you meet someone, stand up, look them in the eye, and make your actions louder than words. Second, what do you do when someone cuts you off in the middle of a conversation, especially in public? You lock eyes with them. If someone interrupts you mid-sentence, it can feel super frustrating, right? You're trying to make a point and boom, someone steps in and messes with your flow. The automatic reaction is to get angry or lash out, but that just makes things worse. It makes you look less composed. So what should you do? That's where Stoicism kicks in and helps you handle it with calm and power. Stoicism says that true strength isn't controlling others, it's controlling yourself. Here's the move. A simple, steady look can say more than words. Instead of reacting, pause, look directly at the person who cut you off, and fix them with a focused look. Let the silence speak. You're saying, "That was out of line." This shows your confidence and tells them to think about what they just did. I remember, at a family dinner, I was telling this funny story when a relative jumped in to tell their own. I was a bit annoyed, but instead of snapping at them, I stopped, looked at them calmly, and waited. It was silent for a few seconds, but it said more than words ever could. They got it, they'd interrupted, and they let me finish. The rest of the night went fine, and I regained control without any drama. This works really well in public or in groups. By staying calm and in control, you draw people in. You don't need to raise your voice or argue to get your space back. Stoicism is all about not letting other people's actions control you. Instead, you use your body language and your calmness to steer the situation without losing your cool. But the gaze is just the beginning. Once you've dealt with the interruption, resume your point. Use something simple like, "As I was saying," that shows you still have a right to speak. Remember, it's not about shaming the other person. It's about setting clear rules for respect. It's amazing because you do it without yelling or fighting. You stay calm, avoid anger, and your actions tell the story. When people see you handle interruptions calmly and with intention, they'll not only respect you more, but they'll also start to think about their own behavior. Stoicism reminds us that the real power is in self-control, even when things are tough. So, next time someone interrupts you, don't explode. Hold your ground, look them straight in the eye, and show everyone that you're worth listening to. It's about showing your self-worth in a way that's meaningful and lasting. Third, let's talk about when someone tries to embarrass you with a joke, especially in a group of friends. Here's the move. When a friend tries to humiliate you with a joke, your first reaction might be to feel embarrassed or pissed off. But the way you respond will set the tone for everything. That's where Stoic philosophy can be incredibly powerful, helping you stay calm and take charge. At a hangout with some old friends, one guy tried to call me out with an embarrassing story from school. I felt my face flush, and my first thought was to snap back. But instead of letting my emotions take over, I remembered a Stoic saying, "What doesn't harm your essence isn't worth your concern." I smiled, acted like I hadn't heard the story, and calmly asked my friend to repeat it. I stayed composed and acted a bit curious. Here's the cool part. When they had to repeat the joke, it just didn't land. The crowd got it, that it was just awkward to make someone repeat a joke that wasn't funny anymore. The laughing faded away, and the guy telling the story started to fumble, realizing his plan had failed. Asking someone to repeat a joke not only makes it less impactful, but it also shows you're unbothered. This approach lets you stay calm and point out the other person's bad behavior without saying a word. Even better, it puts you in control without getting into a fight or losing your dignity. By choosing this move, you show that you're someone who is strong inside and you're not going to let small digs control your emotions. That's one of the key lessons of Stoicism, staying calm when things get a little rough. So, how do you use this idea effectively? First, remember you don't need to react instantly. Pause, breathe, and think. Second, use silence as a weapon. Silence isn't a passive move. It gives the other person a chance to realize they messed up. Finally, when you do respond, stay calm and confident. A simple request for them to repeat what they said in a neutral tone is better than arguing or fighting. Stoicism shows us that how we react to tough situations shows our true character. Every time you stay calm and refuse to be drawn into negativity, you'll gain respect and strengthen your self-respect. So, next time someone tries to make you look bad in front of others, remember that you are in control of how the story ends. Stay calm, and you'll come out on top. Fourth, what about when someone is trying to get under your skin or make you angry? You can use this psychological trick. Ever been in that situation where someone's just trying to push your buttons, and instead of blowing up, you handle it like a pro? Imagine this. You're at a family thing, and someone makes a pointed, hurtful remark about a failure in your career, right in front of everyone. It's a comment that feels like a knife to the heart. Everyone's watching to see how you'll react. In that moment, instead of getting defensive or trying to justify yourself, you just take a breath, stay calm, and ask something like, "Hey, does anyone know a good bakery nearby? I was thinking of getting something for the next get-together." That simple question changes everything. The person trying to get a reaction out of you is left confused and unsure of what to do, and the conversation shifts to something neutral. You've avoided a fight and changed things to work in your favor. It's not just a trick. It's a way of reclaiming control over your emotions and the situation. You're changing the bad energy and not giving the instigator the satisfaction of seeing you upset. It's straight out of the Stoic playbook. Focus on what you can control and don't let others dictate your peace of mind. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The brilliance of this approach is that you shut down the negativity without a confrontation. A well-timed, unrelated question throws them off their game, making it hard to keep trying to provoke you. And at the same time, it shows your confidence and self-control. It's a powerful way to command respect. To make this work, you've got to keep your tone casual. If it feels forced, it won't work. Ask a simple, neutral question or make a comment that fits the moment, something about a local restaurant or event. You're not dodging the situation. You're just shifting the conversation without being awkward. This doesn't just work in the moment. It builds your resilience and inner strength. By refusing to get drawn into fights, you show yourself and others that you are in control. People will notice this and respect you for it. And using this method helps you focus on what you can control, which is a key Stoic value. You can't control how others act, but you can decide how you respond. By doing that, you reinforce your sense of worth and show that you won't let others mess with your peace. So, next time someone tries to provoke you or hurt you, remember this. Ask an unrelated question and see how things change. You'll diffuse the tension and feel empowered by how you handled it. As Marcus Aurelius said, true power comes from maintaining peace of mind regardless of external circumstances. If you master this, you'll handle tough situations with grace, and you'll earn the respect of everyone around you. Let's move to the fifth and final tip, walking away. Ever been in a spot where you felt worthless, disrespected, or just plain ignored? It's a terrible feeling, but sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is walk away. Stoicism says that respect isn't something you can force. It's something you earn by knowing your own value. And sometimes, walking away isn't a defeat. It's a sign of strength and self-worth. Let me tell you a quick story about a friend of mine, Sarah, who was super creative and talented. She joined this big project at her company, and instead of being valued, she was constantly put down by her manager in front of the whole team. They'd interrupt her, dismiss her ideas, and make her feel like her work didn't matter. At first, she tried harder, thinking she needed to prove herself, but after a while, she realized she didn't need to beg for respect from people who were unwilling to give it. One meeting changed everything. Again, her ideas were dismissed for no reason. This time, Sarah just closed her laptop, stood up, and said she was going to put her energy somewhere that it was valued. She walked out of that meeting, leaving her coworkers in shock. That same day, she resigned, not out of anger, but as an act of self-preservation. A few months later, she joined a new company in a leadership role where she was not only respected but celebrated for her talents. Sarah's story isn't just about quitting. It's about choosing where you invest your energy. Walking away isn't a weakness. It's showing you know your worth and won't stay where you're not appreciated. Stoicism teaches us that the only thing we can control is our response to any situation. While you can't make anyone respect you, you can choose not to stay where you're not respected. Walking away isn't about creating drama or trying to prove a point. It's a personal decision, a quiet act that tells yourself, "I deserve better than this." Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Staying in a place that's disrespectful is choosing to let others drag you down. So, how do you know when to walk away? It's when you realize that all your efforts to gain respect are met with indifference. When you feel like you're always fighting to be seen and heard, don't wait until you're completely depleted. Listen to yourself, and if you need to, walk away. It's better to be absent and respected than present and diminished. Walking away isn't giving up, it's setting boundaries. Stoicism teaches us to control our emotions and protect our sense of worth. So, next time you feel devalued, remember that the most respectful thing you can do is leave the place where your worth isn't recognized. Respect isn't begged for, it's built by how you choose to treat yourself. So, next time you feel devalued, remember that the most respectful thing you can do is leave the place where your worth isn't recognized. Respect isn't begged for, it's built by how you choose to treat yourself. Now, I want you to really think about what you've learned in this video and see it not as some interesting concept, but as a potent force that can be actively woven into the fabric of your daily life. Starting right now, today. This isn't just about gaining more knowledge. It's about grabbing hold of the very tools you need to completely change the way you show up in the world, especially when those familiar feelings of being disrespected, undervalued, or belittled begin to creep in. I know that you know the feeling. The sense of dread when someone makes a dismissive comment, the feeling of your stomach sinking when you're being cut off or ignored, that feeling of being completely unseen. This is about changing that. You can learn to consciously prepare yourself for those moments, to arm yourself with the very real weapons of stoicism and change that trajectory. To pause, to breathe, to fix them with that unwavering gaze that communicates everything you need to without saying a single word. When you feel that familiar urge to react impulsively, to lash out or fall apart, that is when you can choose to take control, to ask that unrelated question, redirecting the negativity while remaining firmly in command of yourself. I'm not talking about overnight transformations. I'm talking about making the conscious decision to commit, each day, to actively choose these new, empowered behaviors over the old, self-defeating ones. One moment, one choice at a time, and to never, ever, stop pushing yourself forward. The truth is, this journey you're on, the one to self-respect and a more empowered you, it's not going to be a perfect or effortless one. It's often filled with curves, setbacks, and challenges. There are going to be days where you fall right back into old patterns of behavior, times where you feel like those old wounds and insecurities have been ripped open again, sending you spiraling back down. You'll want to beat yourself up for it. You might even want to quit, to go back to the old ways of dealing with things, the old ways that, deep down, you know are no longer serving you. But those moments are not a signal of defeat. They are the most profound opportunities for growth. You need to understand that these are not reasons to give up, but rather an indication of where you need to focus more of your energy, more of your attention, and more of your conscious effort. You have to choose to not see these moments as failures, but rather as vital lessons to be learned. Acknowledge what happened, try to figure out exactly what triggered it, and consciously decide to stand right back up, brushing yourself off and recommitting to this journey with even greater clarity and unwavering intention. Think of it like going to the gym. Every single rep counts. Every single time you are choosing to resist the pull of the past, you are choosing to actively construct the kind of life that you were always meant to lead. You're consciously training yourself to respond rather than react, and you are finally choosing to align with the highest vision of yourself. And this path doesn't have to be walked alone. It doesn't have to be some isolated, lonely journey. In fact, it's when we come together in a community of like-minded souls that the real, transformative changes begin to take hold and to grow with an unstoppable force. We aren't just a group of individuals passively watching videos and passively absorbing the wisdom of Stoicism. We are a powerful network of people, bound together by the very real desire to lift each other higher, to hold each other accountable for our growth, and to openly share the very real struggles and unique triumphs that inevitably come with stepping out and consciously choosing a new path. We are here to be the change, and you are at the very heart of that change. This isn't a space for pretending we are perfect, or for pretending we have all the answers. It's about showing up with complete honesty, with deep compassion, and with the profound belief that we all have the ability to grow from our struggles and learn from the wisdom that is contained within. So, in those moments when you feel the pull to return to those old, familiar patterns, to those self-defeating habits, reach out to those around you. Share what you are feeling. Share those frustrations. Ask for guidance. Ask for help. And find the safety and the knowing that you are never, ever alone. We are building something extraordinary here at the Stoicism Voice, and it's about you. This is a space where you get to discover the truly incredible power you have within, the unshakable strength that's been waiting to be awakened. We are here to support you, to guide you, to cheer you on, as you learn to cultivate an unyielding sense of self-respect and an absolute resolve to never again allow anyone to undermine the incredible value and the innate worth that resides within you. This isn't just about finding some tips to improve your communication skills. This is about transforming your life from the inside out, beginning now, starting here. By consciously and actively choosing to share your story, by being honest about where you feel vulnerable, by daring to engage with each other in a real and authentic way, we're not just growing a community, we're building a global movement where people from all walks of life choose to empower themselves by lifting up the hearts and minds of those around them. This is where we deliberately choose to transform the things that have hurt us in the past into the very sources of our power. This is where we find the unbreakable strength to not only survive, but to finally, truly begin to thrive. And that is why I need to hear from you now. I need to hear that unique story that only you can tell. I need to hear about the journey that has brought you here, and I need to hear about the victories that have been yours along the way, no matter how insignificant they may seem to you. So please, now, take that step, hit subscribe to our community, turn on that notification bell, and take a moment to share your unique experience, to share your story with us in the comments below. Tell me about the moments when you felt truly empowered, and when you were able to use these strategies and they changed everything. Tell me about the times when you felt like you stumbled, and you needed someone to reach out their hand to help you stand back up. Tell me those hard things, those raw things, those things that you've been holding on to, and in sharing that, perhaps you'll discover a brand new sense of freedom that you've been longing for. And even if you are still finding your way, still working on getting through those rough patches, that's more than okay. I still need to hear from you. Just write "I can do it" in the comments, as a conscious commitment to yourself that you will keep moving forward, you will keep going, and you will never, ever give up. Your active engagement here is not only helping this community grow, but you are contributing to the very real wisdom and the art of finally and powerfully transforming every single challenge into a stepping stone for a better, stronger, more empowered you. And that is what the Stoicism Voice is all about. I've added 2 more videos here for you to continue learning and growing on your own personal journey. Thank you, and I eagerly look forward to seeing all of you again in the next video.